Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Unplanned Journey podcast. In this sixth episode, we continue our exploration to the unpredictable path that life often lays before us. Today, we have the privilege of delving into the remarkable stories of individuals who have profound purpose and passion amidst the unplanned. From chance encounters that altered the course of their lives to unforeseen opportunities that spark creative pursuits, each tale is a testament to the magic and resilience of embracing life's surprises. So get ready to be inspired as we journey through the uncharted territories of the unplanned, uncovering the beauty that lies within every twist and turns. Let's embark on another captivating episode of the Unplanned Journey Thriving Amidst the Unpredictable. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the beautiful Paula. Paula is a mindfulness coach and breathwork instructor who helps neurodivergent women to treat or prevent burnout and live life filled with joy and peace. She has recovered from a cycle of burnouts and not only has found inner peace but lives life to the full without a fear of ever burning out or getting overwhelmed as a neurodivergent person. So, welcome to the show, Paula, and can you please introduce yourself in detail?
Hello, so my name is Paula Liub and I am a mindfulness coach and a breathwork instructor. You've given quite a good introduction. I'm not sure what to add. This was exactly like what I planned for introduction and you said it already.
Okay. Well, I guess I've done the half part of yours. But anyway, maybe I could jump back to the questions then for you. So, what exactly is mindfulness coaching? I mean, just by the name that it says mindfulness, so I am definitely thinking like we all think that it's something to do with your inner peace and all, which is surely exactly what it is. But can you give a little bit limelight on what exactly is mindfulness and what you as a mindfulness coach would do to people who are seeking a mindfulness therapy?
Yes, so mindfulness is a very broad term and there are many definitions of it, of course. For me, mindfulness is just the ability to be here and now and be content with it. And as a mindfulness coach, I specialize in burnout treatment in women. So the way I work is you help women prevent or treat burnout by using mindfulness as well as combining it with science-backed methods. The one thing about mindfulness I'd like to add is that it is a very, very broad term and there are so many different tools, and it's definitely very true that some tools might work for others and not for other people. And it's very, very common that I see that some people say like, oh, I've tried this and it didn't work for me, but that's just one tool. And the important thing is to find something that works for you. And in many years in mindfulness, I myself have tried many tools, and most of them I haven't come back to because they just didn't work for me. But then I found ones that actually did work for me, and they made a massive difference. So I would say, like, if something didn't work for you, don't give up on it completely, because there are so many powerful tools that can really change your life or boost your life and improve your life quality massively.
No, very well said. And I think I totally agree that a lot of things might not work for a lot of people, because if there is something that is working for me, it's not important that it's going to work for you as well. So everybody has a different strategy, different balance of life and the way they works. So thank you so much for sharing that insight, and really congratulations to you as well, and well done to you for doing such an amazing job being a mindfulness coach. I'm sure you've been helping a lot of people out there. Um, so let's get back to the whole and soul of this episode, the unplanned journey. Can you share a story of any significant unplanned event or detour in your life that led you down to a completely unexpected path?
Yes, so in my 20s, I was like many people, working a lot, enjoying my job, doing a lot of work hours. Also, I was spending a lot of time volunteering, and I was also in mindfulness already at that time. So I just spent all my time being very efficient and doing lots of exciting things. And at one point, what happened with my job is that my hours got drastically reduced. I think I went from working something like 60-hour weeks to 20-hour
Wow.
weeks.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, And I went out to 20-hour weeks, and I had like more time off. It was more of a break, and it was very unexpected. But at the same time, when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, what a great opportunity. And what happened then is I was actually able to have a break, to have more space in my time and in my life. And because before that, I just never had time to myself. I always either worked or volunteered or was, into my mindfulness practices. And all my time went there. So I never ever had like an actual holiday. Like, a lot of people in Europe, us in Europe, we do have holidays all the time. And I never had anything like that. So when my work hours got so drastically reduced, and I had more space in my calendar, for the first time in maybe 7 years, I went on a holiday.
Wow.
And I
And where did
realized
you go?
I went to Bali.
Of course, mindfulness coach and Bali, that relates too much.
So cliche, but this is what happened. And I realized, oh my God, like this is how it feels like to be rested. This is how it feels like to have energy. And I
Yeah.
realized that all this time I was running on like 5% battery. And I realized like, oh, this is how rested you can feel. This is how energized you can be. And only looking back, I realized that I was always burnt out, that I was just
Yeah.
going from burnout to burnout, which I didn't realize then. And I didn't realize when my hours got reduced. I didn't know what it's called. I just knew that I'm not coming back to that life.
Yeah. Well, I think we all need a break. We all need to reset. Sometimes our, mind, sometimes physical challenges as well. So I think it's really important to give your body, your mind a little bit peace. So whatever helps, going on a trip, yoga, exercise, gym, whatever helps, it helps. But so how did you initially react to this unplanned journey of yours? What were your emotions and thoughts at that time?
So I was really happy because I realized like I would never have given this break to myself. At
Yeah.
least at the person I was then, I wouldn't have. And I mean, probably because I was also like young and healthy, I didn't realize how much I was harming myself because I was capable to carry all that load. And I
Yeah.
thought like, if I'm enjoying all of this, like this is what matters. I don't
Yeah.
need rest because I'm resting from work when I'm volunteering and vice versa. So I felt like there was nothing, there's no need to change anything. And this was my thoughts like, oh my God, this is so great that this happened. So I have this opportunity to rest, to
Yeah.
recover, to have some space, and then when I realized like that, I how much rested I can be, like what are the different energy levels. This on one part I was so happy and inspired, but on the other hand I was so scared because I did not want to go back to that
Mhm.
life, but I did not know how to because I knew my hours are going to go back eventually and I will need that to earn that much money again, and I don't want to like cut down my volunteering. So this is when the interesting part started, actually, when I realized I don't want to go back to that
Yeah.
life. But I don't know how to change any of that because that was my identity.
Right.
And that when I started some very intensive soul searching. That's when I had to rethink why I do what that I do, why I'm doing it that way, why I wasn't able to say no to people, revisiting my boundaries, revisiting my values. That was the very difficult part, and it lasted quite a few years. I would say 4 or 5 years. I was rethinking, redoing, restructuring. I changed careers. I was looking for that perfect balance.
Mhm. Yeah.
And of course, perfect balance doesn't exist, but I was looking for a way to do it better. And it took a long time because actually burnout has many layers. A lot of people think that it's just like you work too much, then you rest and you'll be okay. But it's usually not that easy. There's actually many different causes. There isn't just one cause and there isn't just
Yeah.
one solution. So it took me some 4 or 5 years going through
Wow.
layer, another layer and layer to undo all the causes and find all the causes and fix them. It was a long journey, but it was worth it in the end.
Well, that's great. And tell me, did you always wanted to be a mindfulness coach, or it started with something else and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you know what? This is where I want to go.
No, I wasn't always a mindfulness coach. I went through quite a few careers. So, initially I was working 60-hour weeks in childcare with babies, with toddlers. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I realized that it's draining my energy so much. So then
Hmm.
I changed careers into IT. I was a data analyst, data engineer, which
Wow.
I
That
also
was a
loved.
big transition, isn't it? From
Yeah.
childcare into IT. Oh my God, that's really good.
Yeah, yeah, it is a big transition, but and then from IT to mindfulness coaching.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, you came back to caring for people, right? You were like, okay,
exactly,
that's where I want to
exactly.
go.
So how that happened, going back to your question, is I've been in mindfulness around 18 years, so it's always been a very
Wow. Okay.
important part of my life, and it was always something that it was part of my life, part of my viewpoint, part of my lifestyle. And I always was helping people a little bit here and there, or doing some workshops, or practicing myself and learning new things. And there's always been people who are saying like you should do more of this, like you should
Yeah.
time. But I was always like, I'm quite happy with what I do, and I never like I always thought like I don't want to start my own thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's also scary and difficult. But at one point, I realized that I don't know, I kind of felt this calling, I guess, is
Hmm.
the way to say it, that
Yeah. Yeah.
the world, there's so many data analysts and the world needs more, of course, but actually what actually the world needs is we are in mental health crisis.
Yeah.
And I think I would be much more useful to the world in this way. And when I lost my job, I knew this was a sign to really just do it.
Yeah. No, very well said. I think there are the way you put it in front, that we need, mental health piece, and we need people who can provide that, because there are a lot of people who will say a lot of things, but in the end you do what makes you happy, right? So people will be pulling you back, people will be taking you forward. It depends, how you take it. But did you find any challenges or obstacles while you were navigating through, the unexpected path of yours? And if you want to share some insights on that.
Yes, so the biggest challenge, I guess, when I said when I realized that I don't want to live that life anymore, but I don't know how to live a different life. So this was a very scary part, and this is what I think will resonate with a lot of people, because when I work with women treating burnout, this is what they usually experience. They know they don't want to feel like that anymore, but they
Yeah.
just don't know how, because that's all they know is that the workload that they have is all that they know, and they don't know how to change it. They don't usually don't see a way how. They just would they feel lost and confused, because of course you need work,
Yeah.
you need to pay your bills, of course if you have family you need to care for them. So it's just that feeling of being completely lost and confused. And it took me a long time. I did a lot of soul searching to really understand and to start saying no. I think that was a very difficult part, to start saying no and to start reducing my workload. Working with my boundaries, understanding where they're coming from, like why wasn't I able to
Hmm.
say no before. So this was the most challenging thing. And another mistake that I did then that I would not repeat was I was doing it all by myself for quite a while. I was not really seeking any help. I was not leaning on anyone. I was thinking like, I'm in mindfulness for such a long time, like I know
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
but actually, and yes, I was able to do a lot by myself. I did a lot of progress on my own, but I know I would have saved so much struggle and so much time if I asked for help sooner. And even though I did recover and found a good balance, mostly on my own, it wasn't until I actually leaned on other people and made decisions to get help, not just from
Yeah.
friends and family, but also from therapists and coaches, and started enrolled in a coaching program. This is when I really was able to find a completely different quality of life. Because at the end of the day, like all these things are like, if you're stuck somewhere, it's often like your own mind trap, and it's very, very difficult to get out of it. Like you need help. Like it can be professional, it can be friends, family, whatever it be, but it's much easier so when it's with somebody. Also, I do understand it's very, very difficult to ask for help, especially if you're a perfectionist, high achiever, like you're so used to being the one who helps everyone else.
Yeah. Well, you already answered my another question, which was around support, guidance, and mentorship, and you answered it really beautifully, so I don't need to ask it again. But were there any hidden opportunities that you have discovered while being a mindfulness coach? Like when you are helping people, what sort of help people are looking for? If you want to share a couple of examples of that, so that people, our audience, know that what exactly how exactly they need to reach out to the mindfulness coach and for what reason.
So to any mindfulness coach, you can just reach out. And I think most of us coaches, we're super happy to, and I speak for myself, but I know others are the same. We're always super happy to just talk to people. Like you don't have to want to be a client and want to enroll in a program. You can just, schedule a call, and I'll be happy to just, have a little chat, give you some pointers, give you some recommendations, and to direct you to the right way. And whichever problems you have, like it can be anything or just curiosity. And the thing is that often, like you think you have certain problem, but actually the root of it might be completely different. So it doesn't even matter like what problems you have. But for my clients, the people I work with, what they usually experience is they feeling burnt out, or they feel they are approaching a burnout, or they have a risk of burnout. They feel like life is just too much, and it's not possible to get better. A lot of it is very, very common to think that it's not possible that it gets any better. But everyone I talk to, we find a way, and it is possible. Yeah. And I completely understand how you might feel that it's not. You might feel trapped, but it is absolutely possible. So yes, these are probably the most common concerns that people come to me with: overwhelm, burnout, feeling it's too much, feeling like they don't have any energy, they don't have any inspiration, motivation to do anything.
Hey, yeah, that's great. I mean, sometimes it's just, you just talk. That's it. Yeah. Because a lot of people pull back when it comes to talking or expressing themselves. They are not very comfortable or not very confident enough. But sometimes talking is just enough. Sharing is just enough with some people, right? So the unplanned journey, how did this shape your perspectives on life and your personal growth?
It has completely changed my life. I am a completely different person now, and my life is completely different from what it used to be. One thing I'd like to say from that journey of 4 or 5 years of searching is, I read it somewhere, and then it was my mantra during that time: don't focus on what's urgent, focus on what's important.
Wow, that's a very nice saying.
Yes, it is. It's not my saying, I have to say. It's a quote from someone else. I can't remember who it was, but I think this is really at the core of many things. Because if you are a high achiever, if you're a perfectionist, if you have so much on your plate, you are very prone to being in that state where you just want to do more and more and more and more. And even if you don't want to, even if you're tired, your brain is still switched on, looking for another thing that, I'm going to complete this, then I can relax. I'm going to just achieve that, and then I can relax. But it never,
yes, yes, absolutely.
That time never comes. So switching that viewpoint to thinking, okay, what is the most important? Let me just look at the most important stuff and take care of that, and then everything else can wait. And for me, it was, of course, my health and my well-being. I understood that I don't want to be in that state anymore, and I just want to take care of myself, of my health. And I decided not looked for any proof, or not looked for ways, but firstly, I decided that my health is the most important, and it is possible for me to live my life in a sustainable way. I just decided that it is possible, and then I looked for ways how.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a very well lesson learned for all as well, because I've seen a lot of people who have 10,000 stuffs going on in their head, and because of that they're not able to achieve one thing that is most important in life, right? And at the moment, you would say, so thinking a lot about future, what's going to happen in the next couple of hours, but what is going to happen right now and what is happening right now in the present, that is more important to work on rather than thinking too much. So, thank you so much for sharing the amazing, things about mindfulness coaching and your personal journey towards this. I have a very last question for you, and it's around what advice would you give to our listeners who are actually going through this unplanned phase, taking some unexpected path at the moment, and how would they, any advice on how would they embrace this unknown and make the most out of this situation?
Okay, so for anyone going through burnout, I would firstly say, just know it's not your fault. It's not your fault that it's happened to you, but it is in your power to change it. You absolutely can change it. It does get better. It can get better, and it will get better. And firstly, I would say talk to somebody. Could be a friend, could be a colleague, could be a therapist. And on the occasion of releasing this podcast, I would like to gift 15 roadmap calls to all the listeners. So where we can get on a call and understand what's happening for you and plan your next steps and give you some recommendations for you personally, what can help. And if you, for any reason, miss that opportunity, you can always follow me on any of the social media that will be linked in the show notes, and get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to help and talk to you or give you any advice or refer you to what could be helpful for you.
Wow, that's a really amazing, offer that you have given out, and I'm sure the listeners, I think I will be the first one to book a call with you now. But thank you so much for being here. And as we come to the end of this enriching episode on the unplanned journey of a mindfulness coach, we are reminded of the profound impact that embracing the unplanned can have on our path of self-discovery. So our guest experience have beautifully showcased the transformative power of mindfulness in navigating life's unexpected twists and turns. We hope that this episode has inspired you to embrace mindfulness in your own life, finding solace and strength in the present moment and approaching the unplanned with a sense of calm and curiosity. So our sincere gratitude goes out to our guest Paula for sharing her mindfulness journey and invaluable insights with us. Her wisdom and authenticity have left a lasting impact on this journey of ours. So as we conclude this episode, we encourage you to continue nurturing mindfulness in your daily life, for it holds the key to unlocking a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. Thank you for joining us on this Unplanned Journey podcast. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and empowering conversations. Until next time, may you embrace the unplanned with mindfulness and embark on a path of continuous growth and self-discovery. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with us, we invite you to hit that subscribe button or follow our podcast channel. We value your support and appreciate you being part of our podcast community. Together, we can continue to explore fascinating topics, share empowering stories, number of challenges we face, and ignite a spark of inspiration in each other's life. So thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to having you with us on the next episode of The Unplanned Journey, Thriving Amidst the Unpredictable. Thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you. Pleasure to talk to you.